Hello and welcome to Movie Vault 666. My name's Chris.
And today I'm going to be looking at Camp Blood. Camp Blood is a low-budget horror film released in 2000 in America. The film was based around a highly original concept for the horror genre, a group of teen stereotypes being chased in some woods by a killer in a cheesy costume. The film was released straight to DVD to such critical acclaim as this. But it wasn't just whiny, silver-pointed critics on the internet who liked this movie. Look at this quote from The Times. Okay, they didn't review this movie, but they must have used all these words at some point, right?
Now, I got this DVD for free, so is it really fair to pummel this DVD for being cheap, given what a skinflint I've been? Not really, but 'tis the season, and it should be a bit of fun, so let's dive right into Camp Blood. Whoa, whoa, stop the movie, I want to get off!
Once the camera and your head stop spinning, we get introduced to two characters, a sickly yellow-tinged man and an arse, apparently. Oh, and it's attached to a woman. Either way, these two are in the woods chasing the...
Agrarious anthropophagus.
Ah, the fabled Snuffleupagus.
However, as just shown, the strange-coloured gentleman doesn't seem to be listening.
Are you listening, Vic? You're not, are you?
Yes, I am. It's just... you're, quite distracting.
And then, of course, they start shagging.
Or dry humping, I guess, given that their clothes are still on. And, of course, it's all completely tastefully shot and not at all awkward if you're watching it with anyone else.
You just stay here, and in a minute, I'll be back with the best fucking picture of a asparagus whatchamacallit you've ever seen.
Eventually, a stereotypical bird noise causes the man to go off in search of the Snuffleupagus. However, it turns out not to be the Snuffleupagus at all, but the killer clown, which is in no way lame. We even get this amazing special effect.
Although, of course, it probably would be more amazing if I could actually tell where people were supposed to be standing.
Eventually, the woman decides to put her kit back on and go search for the sickly-looking man who, for obvious reasons, can't be found. At least not until...
This happens!
Oh no, the clown got gravy all down his shirt right before he killed him. Then the clown appears and begins chase, catching up to the woman after she's fallen over, and clearly misses.
Okay, now add a crappy font in vomit green, and that's a wrap!
Cut to an outside location, and we see a woman jogging, and only Camp Blood can make that look fake. A newspaper then informs her of the disappearance of the woman from the previous scene, which apparently bores Trisha, our main character. But just in case you thought this was going to be boring, the film then ramps up the tension by showing us every step of Trisha making a glass of water, the scene being made unintentionally hilarious by the choice of music. She then runs herself a shower before someone comes out of her airing cupboard or something, judging by the door. And what kind of pointless fake out will this lead to? Oh my god, it was the boyfriend playing a cliched prank on her.
What? And then we cut away, all a little more ashamed than we were before that scene.
We now get some boring dialogue between Trisha and Steve, the main purpose of which is to inform the audience that they were planning to go on a trip to Camp Blood, or Camp Blackwood as it's also known. Even though you would have thought that the place would have been shut off to the public, what with a world-famous photographer having just gone missing. Instead of any of these issues being raised, there's an awkward pause, then Trisha goes a bit slack-jawed before Steve answers the phone. The call turns out to be from Jay, another character played by Tim Young, who would later go on to be in the classic Asylum Scarecrow series. Anyway, it's established pretty early on that Jay is kind of an arsehole, and so our group of stereotypes begins to assemble, as we already have normal girl and jock, and now standard douchebag is off to pick up slutty girl. Unfortunately, Nerd couldn't make it, which is odd, so we're down a character at the moment. Beyond introducing Jay as a character, this scene is completely pointless, and it seems to have been jammed completely at random into the movie, because as soon as they stop talking, Steve and Trisha go back to their conversation as if it had never stopped.
That's where we're going, isn't it?
That's the plan.
Do you think that's a good idea?
What, you don't want to go now?
Just because the whole place would probably be a scene of an investigation?
Trust me, okay?
One awkward half-kiss, half-raspberry thing later, and we cut to some hunters in the woods.
Ready to bag a few deer? I sure as hell am.
They don't really seem to serve any purpose that I can fathom, but somebody bothered to write them in, so they're here for the sake of completeness. Meanwhile, Jay goes to pick up his girlfriend and our fourth stereotype, Nicole. I also hope you enjoy watching every second of her putting her bag in the back of the car, because the film decided to keep all of it in.
What did I do to deserve this? Oh yeah.
Back with Steve and Trisha, and Steve reveals that he's bringing a survival knife to Camp Blood with him.
No.
Hey. What's bothering you?
I'm sure the knife is more scared of you.
Trisha then begins to poorly exposit to the audience about how her relationship with Steve has been going through a rough patch recently. Steve then tells us that this is the reason why the trip to Camp Blood is taking place, as it's supposed to help improve the relationship between him and Trisha.
Probably in the most affordable manner possible. Also, if they're trying to spend more time as a couple, why even bring other people at all?
Fortunately, the exposition dump comes to a close when Jay and Nicole arrive outside.
Maybe they're having a quickie, you know, one for the road.
Don't give me any ideas.
I think it's a little too late for that.
Oh, we'll make up for tonight, baby, I promise.
Okay.
Come on!
Maybe I got it wrong. Maybe he's not the arsehole stereotype, maybe he's just bipolar.
Come on!
The main characters exchange some tedious dialogue before driving off to Camp Blood. And speaking of Camp Blood, we then cut back to the hunters.
Look, I told you, a buddy of mine took out $2 in this area in one day.
$2? I hope you got some change.
Oh, so they're the comic relief.
How long until they die?
I sure did.
Oh, thank God. In fact, the two hunters also stumble across the body of the woman from earlier.
Could have done a thing like that.
I don't know, but it looks like she's still alive.
Impossible.
This is the worst ketchup eating situation I've ever seen.
Oh, God. Yeah, she's still breathing, all right. Sounds like she's trying to say something.
Damn it, Timmy had better not have fallen down another well. Anyway, of course it's a trap, and the clown shows up to deliver more fantastic effects like this one, courtesy of Camp Blood.
George.
So with them out of the way, it's back to our main characters for some more inane dialogue.
The Awakening. Was that movie with Charlton Heston about a mummy?
You're a fucking retard.
It is a vacation. What the fuck are you talking about? What the hell are you doing? Huh? That smell is killing me.
So roll down a window.
You know I don't like to do that.
Why?
The window is already obviously open.
You know what? Now
It soon becomes apparent that our protagonists are lost, so they try and flag down a strange man by the side of the road.
Why don't we ask this guy right here? He looks like a local.
Yo, buddy! You fucking deaf or what?
Well, that went well.
However, as they close in on the body,
Oh my god!
Thought I was dead, huh?
Crazy son of a bitch!
Damn kids! Roaring through here in your brand new shiny cars! Polluting the earth with your fast food trash and your loud music!
Your digital watches, and your leather jackets, and your fancy clothes.
Acting as if you own the goddamn place! Think you can push us locals right off the map, huh? Well, you're not gonna get me!
Never take me alive! Never! Never!
What you all doing here?
We're looking for Camp Blackwood.
Camp Blackwood? You mean Camp Blood?
That's the one.
the old man's gravelly overacting is the best part of this film, and it continues as he explains the tale of Camp Blood.
You don't listen too good, do you, boy? You and your friends don't want to go to Camp Blood!
Jesus. You know, call it whatever you want, okay? But we're not about to be scared by some old ghost story.
I'm not talking about a ghost here, boy.
No, what you're talking about is far lamer.
I'm talking about a man. A real man.
So a grown-up Pinocchio, then.
Whatever, Pops, okay? We've got a guide waiting for us.
Ah, that's good. Ha! A kite! He's even more ignorant than you are. You go into those woods, you'll never make it out alive.
I've been there.
Anyway, eventually the old man cracks and gives the 4 directions to Camp Blood, but not before leaving them with this final ominous line.
And say hello to the clown for me! Fuck you, Batman! Ah!
Well, that's a different reaction.
With that encounter over, the 4 arrive at the infamous Camp Blood.
You don't listen too good, do you, boy? You and your friends don't want to go to Camp Blood.
This is Old Man Radio, blasted out 24/7. Coming up next, you don't want to go to Camp Blood.
I love her expression in this scene as well.
You don't listen too good, do you, boy?
I'm a girl.
Do you guys think there's any truth to that story?
What are you talking about?
No, the one that Thatcher told us about the camp being haunted? The clown.
What?
That's what he said as we were driving away.
Allow me to mock him by playing a woman's voice over that clip.
Say hello to the clown for me.
I didn't hear him say that.
Neither did I.
Replied, you idiot!
And say hello to the clown for me!
Anyway, having discussed it for some time, the group comes to the conclusion that the old man probably just made up the story about the clown to scare them away. And with that sorted, the group then proceed into Camp Blood via one Star Wars edit. However, the group have still not received any more contact from their guide.
Ah, that's good. Ha! A kite!
So having gone deeper into the woods without waiting for the guide, thereby making it harder for the guide to find them, the 4 eventually find a nice spot to sit down for a bit. Then it appears that Steve pets Trisha like a dog, which is rather odd, before the Snuffleupagus returns in order to split our group up. Jay and Nicole continue to be irritating while Steve and Trisha go to investigate the noise. They spot another person roaming around in the woods, someone whose face is conveniently hidden at all times.
Steve.
Sometimes just by the camera framing. However, because Steve only sees what the camera sees, he decides to go out and ambush them. Someone who
absolutely certain will be the clown and not a fake out at all. No siree.
But no, it turns out to be their rather pissed off guide called Harris.
So I'm sure is a well qualified and competent guide.
I'm Harris.
Nice to meet you.
How's it going? I was just on my way back up to the parking lot. I wanted to get a feel for the place, you know? It's been a long time since I've been out here.
Being the case, I only really have one question. Why did you offer to guide people round it?
Although that's not the only thing that seems off about this whole situation, as we'll see when they go back to talk to Jay and Nicole.
Who's this?
I'm Harris.
You're Harris?
Yeah, I'm your guide. We talked on the phone.
Yeah, we talked on the phone. You know what?
Been here for-
I don't want to hear your excuses, okay? Frankly, if I'd have known it was going to be a woman, I'd have gone with somebody else. Yeah, we talked on the phone.
Well then, how did you not notice that she was a woman? And was she advertising herself as a guide, or did you just bring random people until one of them agreed?
Anyway, having already berated Harris for being late, Jay's comment about not wanting a female guide causes Harris to flip out.
Listen, pal. I've been doing this for years, and it's part of my job to know the terrain. Now, I said I was sorry for being late, but I'm not going to say it again. And if you got a problem with me being your guide, just say so. I'll leave and you can find your own way out of here. Or else maybe you can go home, back to your little domestic world of cell phones and satellite dishes, which is where the fuck you belong.
Whoa. You leave our satellite dishes out of this.
But in the meantime, I'm not going to take any more of your shit. Got it?
So having asserted her authority over Jay, the others decide that they want her as their guide. At which point she takes them to a site where they can pitch their tent. Fortunately, they can edit their way most of the way again. Eventually the group decide to take a break, at which point Trisha decides to ask Harris whether she knows anything about the clown. However, Harris says no.
Possibly because she's the worst guide ever.
Eventually the group arrive at a place which meets with Harris's approval to become their campsite. But what should Steve discover when they get there?
Cool, babe, check it out. A rope swing.
No, come on.
What? What's wrong with having a little fun?
You're
Take the
nuts.
bag.
Come on.
Yeah, I mean, to survive that, you'd have to be some kind of sorcerer or something.
But of course, watching a man play on a swing is so much fun that it's actually kind of a disappointment when the film remembers that it's supposed to be a horror movie, and after another swirly shot shows someone in a cheap clown mask running around in random directions. It doesn't really add anything and couldn't even be happening at the moment anyway. The tension is then, of course, ratcheted up another notch with the brilliant Jay and Nicole scene in which Jay runs away from behind her back. And then it's revealed that Nicole is almost too stupid to get past a log. All it leads to is Jay jumping out and getting a smack in the face, which is what I give this movie for keeping this scene in. It even takes her brain a few seconds to work out that she actually done that. Actually, just so I don't get accused of misrepresenting Camp Blood or something, it does actually turn out that Harris is watching them make out. Not that this leads to anything or anything. So anyway, back at the campsite.
Sure is.
I see you've played knifey spoony before.
After which Jay and Nicole arrive back at the camp. And Jay attempts to explain to Steve what happened with Harris.
So Steve seems pretty underwhelmed.
Nicole and I were making out. Harris pops out of nowhere. Turned out she was watching us.
Are you serious?
Yeah, sorry they had to wake you up to act that morning, Steve.
Yeah, she was hiding in the bushes, getting off on it. I think she's got the hots for Nicole. I'm telling you, man, she's a freak.
Are you serious?
Anyway, eventually night falls, and we cut to our group sat around a roaring campfire. At first they don't seem to be up to much until Steve says this.
There's something really important that we're forgetting right now.
Yeah, what's that?
Ghost stories.
Yeah, according to my list of cliches, that is the only one they haven't done yet.
At first they skim over normal urban legends such as Bloody Mary or the escaped mental patient, until Harris pipes up with this.
About the clown.
What?
You heard the one about the clown, haven't you?
You mean that story that crazy old guy was telling us?
Story of how this place came to be called Camp Blood?
Camp Blood, when I asked you about that earlier, you said you hadn't even heard of it before.
Shh. Don't point out the plot holes, that's my job.
It was a beautiful, sunny day. Stanley Cunningham had just gotten off a hard day's work. It was his last day of work, as a matter of fact.
So he was only no days from retirement.
Wouldn't this be better with some kind of narration over the top, as if we were listening to an actual ghost story? Or did they try that and this was somehow considered to be actually better? Either way, here's the highlights. I find your lack of acting disturbing. Well, at least they remembered that the sign shouldn't read Camp Blood at the moment. Well, at least it's a good effect, otherwise it'd just be absolutely ridiculous to keep holding on it. At any rate, with that gripping tale out of the way, the original four head to their tents, whilst Harris sleeps outside. Next 5 minutes, just the two couples getting ready to have sex, or discussing whether the clown exists or not, while some confusing editing goes on outside.
Well, I'm pretty much going to skim over most of this part, because nothing really happens, though I did leave the rest of the film in.
However, something does actually happen when Trisha leaves the tent in the morning.
Calm down, lady. It's a pretty crappy effect, but come on.
Oh my god!
Fuck is all the oh Jesus! Oh Jesus!
Sorry, I have to do some really realistic vomiting.
Anyway, the four of them crack up and become hysterical, and Nicole even goes completely into shock, making her functionless and obsolete. Well, it makes it quieter anyway.
The clown. It was the clown!
Maybe there's no clown. That's just some story that Harris cooked up to scare us.
You think it was a story? Look at her, she's dead! The clown killed her!
Maybe there is no clown.
Anyway, I'm pretty certain you could just write the dialogue here yourself. They argue about whether it was the clown or not, and they get pretty hysterical before Steve decides to take charge.
Let's go.
Steve then actually does a pretty good job of organising the rest as they attempt to leave the woods. In fact, things seems to be going pretty well right up until...
Oh, come on, I guess I forgot about the sprained ankle cliche then.
The The four of them attempt to carry Nicole out of the woods when suddenly a clown appears and immediately gets socked in the face by Steve.
You know, it's hard to undermine this villain, but that just about did it.
Well, undermine them any more than making them a clown, that is. I mean, just look at this. This is ridiculous. You wouldn't see Freddy getting the shit kicked out of him the first time you saw him. So having been too much of a badass recently, Steve then randomly charges off after the retreating clown, which obviously leads to Trisha following immediately afterwards, abandoning Jay and the injured Nicole to get out of the woods on their own.
Steve! No!
Eventually though, Steve finds that there's no sign of the clown anywhere.
Adding to the list of people who've completely lost the plot in this film. I'll be quiet.
Well, there might not be any sign of the clown, but Steve notices the clown's machete lying completely unguarded, and goes in to pick it up, giving him both knives. However, this seems quite obviously to be a really bizarre trap, and the suspicions are confirmed when the clown uses the element of surprise to sneak up on Steve and attack him. This then triggers a lackluster fight scene between Steve and the clown, completely devoid of tension, and it doesn't even have any music, possibly because the film is just a little ashamed at the moment. The fight scene goes on for way too long, involving a really annoying shaky cam and some of the most bizarre editing I've ever seen. In fact, I'd even make fun of the choreography if I thought there were any. Eventually Steve trapped himself at the bottom of the river, prompting this poignant question.
Who the fuck are you?
Well, I'm glad that you asked that. And if I could use my powers of deduction for a second, I would say that it can't be any of the four main characters for obvious reasons. And it can't be Harris, as not only is she definitely dead, but when we look at the back of the clown, she has the wrong hair type and colour. So therefore, it must be a stuntman. Most likely Shemp Mosley.
At any rate, Steve eventually realises that he can escape over the top of the rocks, and seems to have escaped the clown, before finally he gets shoved over to the sound of a random explosion noise. And whilst the effect is bad, in fairness, the scream is pretty good, but there's no saving this. Oh my god, it's in so deep, I have to hold it in place. Meanwhile, Trisha has been apparently standing in the same place for the entire fight scene, goes to investigate. Trisha then apparently catches some kind of fever and staggers along in a daydream before finding Steve dead.
Oh my god, Steve!
However, to make matters worse, the clown is there, and this leads to an embarrassingly haphazard chase scene.
That's what he said to us as we were riding away. Say hello to the clown for me.
I didn't hear him say that.
Neither did I. I think you finally fucking lost it, Trish. Come on.
Oh, and apparently it's time for some sort of flashback montage, because you know how much I love flashbacks.
Nope.
Hey, what do I do? No, take it easy, dude. Just keep driving. Just keep it on the road. Don't pass.
Look at her, she's dead. The clown killed her.
Anyway, eventually it looks like Trisha has outrun the clown, and then Jay approaches her in probably the stupidest way you possibly could in this situation. Trisha then explains that Steve is dead to Jay, and he actually takes it pretty calmly, even telling his girlfriend, who's quite clearly in a state of shock.
Let's help her up. Come on. Come on, honey, put your arm around me. Come on.
Steve's dead.
Come on, we gotta keep moving.
The three remaining characters don't actually make it very far before a random infighting scene occurs. In fact, it even blinds them to the presence of the clown behind them, who I must say I actually feel kind of sorry for in this scene, what with them ignoring him and all.
Super evil clown guy here. I hope I'm not interrupting anything. Hello? Ah,
Ugh,
that's better.
again with the comedy punching noise.
So with Trisha and her knife out of the way, the clown then just sort of takes Nicole, possibly thinking that she'd be safer with him, I don't know. The clown then walks off into the woods with her, completely unopposed, and Jay takes the knife off of Trisha the way that anyone handles any situation in this film. Jay then begins tearing off into the woods after the clown as well. Jay is now apparently drunk or something and stumbling around as vision spins and sees this. But in a twist that I genuinely didn't see coming because it doesn't make any fucking sense, it turns out to be Nicole.
No, baby. No. Don't die. I love you. You know I'd never hurt you.
What's that? Oh yeah, the whole stabbing thing.
God damn it, I've been here the whole time. Someone acknowledge me.
So anyway, Jay starts laughing at the whole cheesy clown mask thing, and I've got to say I agree with him. I mean, it is pretty fucking stupid. He probably finds this a little less funny, though.
I have no idea how you could confuse the two, but I guess he caught the same fever Trisha had earlier, or something, I don't know.
Trisha, meanwhile, has made it back to the car, and is about to break in when Old Man Thatcher, the old man from earlier, runs up and stops her. At first it appears he's interested in the tales she has to tell about what happened to her friend, but it quickly turns out that he's actually in league with the clown. This then leads to a scene which is just made for the yakety sax music. What in the hell?
Yeah, you'd be surprised how blunt machetes are.
But the stupid shit doesn't end there. Having disposed of the clown, it was apparently just that easy. She also takes out Thatcher. And this is starting to look like the darkest Three Stooges sketch ever written. But it's not like it's going to get any more fucking stupid, right?
Wrong.
Wait a minute, what was that?
No, she does not just say ow as she bumps her head. Seriously?
I mean, I have seen some fucking laziness from films in my time, but this just takes the piss. So anyway, Trisha somehow overpowers the clown and runs off down the road with the clown in hot pursuit. And this whole thing is somehow less entertaining than the other chase scenes from the movie, which is impressive, I guess.
This is getting kind of depressing. Kind of wish something would happen right about now.
She's right ahead of you! Get her! Get her! Get her!
Sorry about that. I'm back now. Thought I was going mad for a second there. Where was I? Oh yeah.
Oh no, not again. We'll probably have to exchange insurance details. Don't mind me, just walking to the car. Oh, crap. So anyway, because watching two people chase each other around a car was so riveting before, we get to watch it again. And also because this film must follow video game rules, the weapon's condition has deteriorated so much that it can't even get through the man's coat. So after a little bit of moaning about the blood and the pain and the fact that she just killed a man...
Trisha then takes off the clown's mask to reveal... Well, that is kind of a shock where they're making 0 sense, but I don't think it's a shock for the right reasons.
Alright, let's get this over with. Trisha gets back into the car and is about to drive off when the clown starts to get back up. Fortunately, the clown's put his mask back on, which allows them to reuse the death scene from before. In fact, even if you look very closely, you can see that it's Trisha driving both times. So with the clown either dead or too far behind the car, Trisha can now drive off safely, right?
Wrong. No, of course not. Instead, well, just see.
Yep, that's right. This film's final twist is that she was in a mental hospital the whole time. They even save money by having all the friends from before play different parts, like Steve as the doctor and Jay as the sheriff. Evidently they didn't really feel that padded walls were necessary in a mental asylum, though.
In fact...
Anyway, the best bits come when Tim Young enters as a sheriff and begins questioning her as to whether she killed everyone, to which Trisha has a rock-solid defense.
You think I killed everybody? It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was the clown. It was Harris. It was the clown. Don't you see? Don't you see?
Oh sure, just keep yelling the clown. That'll show him that you're sane.
I'm going to come back tomorrow, Miss Young. Maybe then you'll be able to tell me what really happened.
But I am telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth. I'm not crazy. I'm not.
Nurse, can we get a sedative in here, please?
No!
Well, at least we ended the movie with no stupid scene of the clown walking in.
Or did we?
Dad, is that you? No! Somebody help me! No, please!
Anyway, that was Camp Blood, and for what it was worth, it was entertaining. Just for the wrong reasons. It had a very low budget, and so therefore couldn't afford a good script, good effects, good actors, tension, some of the things you might have wanted in a film. But those are all the qualities that make this film entertaining.
If you're looking for a serious horror movie, I would suggest looking almost anywhere else. This film is littered with incredibly bad decisions, bad camera work, just everything is terrible. No characterization or mystery to the whole thing.
However, if you're looking for something that's just a bit of a laugh with some friends, you just sit down, have a bit of fun. You could do a lot worse. The only problem I really had was with the ending. I mean, and after all, that's the crazy thing. How would anyone not notice they were in a mental asylum the whole time? Now, if you'll excuse me, I have to go have tea with the Queen on Jupiter. Hi-ho, Silver!
I call this one the Campfire Song. Let's gather round the campfire and sing our campfire song. Our CAMPFIRESONG song. And if you don't think that we can sing it faster, then you're wrong. But it'll help if you just sing along.